Around what age is your cutoff for calling someone a kid? I'm 23. My dad's 66. I was born from his second marriage and I get he's older than most of my friends' parents, people my age in general, who range between very late 40s to late 50s, sometimes early 60s. He's always called people 20-25 years-ish younger than him a kid. And despite these kids being older than me, I also consider them kids. Millennials are a lot younger looking and savvy, and the oldest of the millennial generation are now in their early 40s. To me, they're just finally becoming adults. It's hard to pin a certain age, but generally I'd say around 33 or 34 is when I don't consider someone a youngster like myself. Entering the mid-30s is what I see as a full adult. What are everyone else's takes on this? There isn't one. It's all perception. As you get older and wiser, you tend to notice the inexperience of people younger than you. Age and youth is all about perception too. When you were 10, 5-year-olds were kids to you. When you became a teenager, everyone that wasn't a teen was a kid to you. Once you're over 21, everyone that isn't seems like a kid, and so on and so forth. But when you're living that age, you don't really see it. I have no firm cutoff. If you are younger than me, you are kid, which currently is anyone up to mid to late 40s. I've heard old guys 70s, 80s calling those in their 60s, 70s kid. So there isn't an age, so to speak, rather it tends to be relative. You could be 99 and to a 100 years old you are kid. No cutoff. I will be calling my kids kids until I die. As a professor, I've called 63-year-old students my kids. I call everyone who's younger than me a kid, lol. Well, my parents will always consider me a kid, and I'll always consider my kids as kids, so I guess it's relative in terms of who you call kid. I am calling anyone who seem more immature than me a kid. 3 years younger than me. 1 minute younger. I feel like this is completely subjective depending on the age of the person calling someone kid. As you age, everyone significantly younger becomes a kid. It's always changing. My grandparents called everyone 20 years younger kids. My mom and dad are both 75. During the pandemic, they were in a grocery store and a worker told them that from 6 a.m. 8 a.m. is senior only shopping. My mom looked at my dad and said, "Why is he telling us that?" My dad said, "I think he thinks we are old." I consider anyone under 26 still a kid. That's about the time the brain is fully developed. Probably like 16 or so. When they stop acting like a child. Nothing like being told by someone who is barely an adult that you're a child. Face with rolling eyes. Kids are kids. I stopped calling my sister a kid when she became a legal adult. Frankly, referring to people younger than you as kid comes across as condescending as hell. It's about relative age, not age. Anyone 20 years or more younger than me is a kid. Under 50. Kid is anyone under 18 or anyone who's being a prick to me, lol. Edit. Even though this is mostly a joke comment. For context, I am 23. Everyone is a kid. To me, the old people calling people in their 30s and 40s a kid is a sign of disrespect on what that person has accomplished. And I instantly lose some respect for that person. They may not mean it that way, but that is how I take it, especially if they are not very successful in life. If I am more successful at 30 than you are at 70, I'd say one of us had their crap together and grew up just a bit sooner than the other. It is different for parents calling their kids kids. But some old jagoff just calling everyone kids is dumb and demeaning. I don't even call my own kids kids except in direct reference to their youth. I find it condescending and a dismissal of their responsibilities as people to strive to make good choices. Anyone under 18 is a kid. Once you're 18, you're an adult, and I will call you sir or man. 13 and lower. Calling teenagers kid feels condescending to me. I wouldn't go so far as to label them adults, but kid just feels demeaning. I'm 33. Please don't tell me I'm a full adult. Flushed grimace, tired melting face. Depends on the relationship as much as actual age. I think I'm 32 and only my mum use kid. But my husband is closing on 40 and I know all of his uncles and several of his dad's friends calls him kid. I'm turning 30 in a couple of weeks. And I feel like I am just now really becoming an adult. Honestly. My mum still calls me and my siblings kids, and we are all over 35. If you're younger than me, you're a kid. If you go by 40s film noir logic, somebody can be a kid for 50 years or more. As long as they don't have white hair. Anyone who is 1 younger than me, 2 reminding me of a kid could be in the sense of being energetic when I am tired. Not necessarily immaturity. It's a sliding scale with age. The older I get, the older kids become. My fiancé calls my sister a kid all the time. If you're more than like 2 years younger than us, you're a kid. The older I get, the older kids get. The older you get, the older a kid gets. If you're the same age as my kid, then you're still a kid. Sorry. It's endearing hearing a 23-year-old talk about who isn't kids. Your perspective is going to grow so much past looking up to your dad, who I imagine is a good one. Never. I call my grandpa kid all the time. Everyone is a kid. Never. I'm 51 and I still refer to other people my age, usually classmates from school, as kid s. Also, my 78-year-old mother and her twin sister still call each other kid. If I am more than 5 years older than you or you act childish, you are a kid emo. Depends on my age. At 69, everyone under 40 is a kid. Anyone 25 and under is still a kid to me. We're all baby goats to someone, no matter how old we are. According to Dana White, never. No cutoff. As long as your parents are still around, they will always see you as the 5-year-old playing with toys. I don't have kids. But if I had, they would be always kid. Any age gap can be an excuse to call someone a kid. Could be a condescending way to treat a person. Yes. But it could also be a way to show affection or sympathy. Up to about early 20s is a kid. Then they are some young guy girl, probably up to their mid-30s. Kind of a boomer and regional thing from what I've seen. In some areas, especially Northeast, you'll hear the term a lot. Not so much in the South, as it's considered rude and derogatory. And too close to boy. Which has really bad slavery connotations and will get your ass kicked or worse. Out west I think it's just more of a respect thing. But still hear boomers doing it. Because boomers gonna boom. Then go to the Texas area. And you'll hear it all over again. It also sounds pretty cringe coming out of someone who is also young. Trying too hard to make yourself look like something you're not. There is no cut off. I am 38. Anyone in their 20s is a kid to me. Even when I was in my 20s. I still said it about anyone younger than me. People with children, mostly the older man, call everybody who could their kid at age a kid. Most of them are a child of their own parents, so they aren't wrong. Being from New England, everyone's a kid. Really just depends how you carry yourself. If you have a happy free spirit, I'ma call you a kid. Not out of disrespect, but out of a place that I know where you come from. 'Cause I'm just a 39-year-old kid myself.